But anyway,
Okay,
so yeah, so Ronald Dirks went over to Los Angeles and did an investigation and talked with a bunch of employees to find out what was going on. And all this whole time, he's sitting there talking and telling all the clients and shareholders and stock owners of Equity Funding Corporation of America that he's investigating them for fraud. And so all these people are like, oh, shoot. And they sell all their stock prices. And so Dirks, before this, Dirks goes to some guy on Wall Street, the Wall Street Journal, and is like, hey, these people are accused of committing fraud. I think you should do a news story on it. And they're like, oh, no, we don't want a libel suit, and so they don't report it. And because their stock price dropped so much, because all of their investors sold their funds or sold their stock prices or stock shares or whatever, market shares, because Dirks had just leaked that information that they were being investigated for fraud. It dropped their market price, and so the SEC did an investigation on them, found out that they were committing fraud, and then reported them and whatever their procedures are for that, and then they investigated Dirks for his involvement in the whole thing, and I think they just censored him. They didn't sue him for much more than that, but I mean, so. And that's the case, basically, in a nutshell. But Ronald Seacrest was actually a former employee, just FYI. He wasn't, I guess he wouldn't be considered a whistleblower. I don't know. He's already an ex-employee, but. So, anyway, does anyone want to be our scribe for this week?
Sorry, the what?
Does anybody want to be our scribe for this week? Write our stuff down?
Oh, we can do it.
Okay.
I'll send you the recording after the meeting.
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions about our group assignment for the week?
I mean, I know you. So I'm looking at the slides right now, and I noticed that there's seven? No, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 other slides that we need to fill. What else are we planning on putting onto the slides that way, just as far as looking at it structure wise, what is each slide going to be?
So we don't need all those extra slides. I just added a bunch. I didn't know how many we needed, so
okay.
We don't need to fill 8. It doesn't have to be 8 like our last group. I guess, yeah, I mean, I just did a bunch, so we need a gospel connection, the judgment or the holdings of the case or the facts of the case.
I can continue doing the facts of the case, basically set up the whole thing, what happened, because I'm pretty familiar with that already.
Okay. That's awesome. So then,
judgment.
And plus, I already started on that, so I mean,
okay.
I kind of feel like I should finish it. And I was thinking that maybe we could do like a recording this time because like I was trying to keep it super like brief on the points because I think it might be a little bit more interesting to listen to somebody here or like animatedly talk about it rather than just like read slides off of a slideshow. Because like I don't know if you guys have, excuse me, I don't know if you guys have ever like watched that video at the end of like the group presentation instructions page of Webster versus like I think Deep CT or something. And it's the funniest thing in the world I've ever like. It's ridiculous and it's just kind of dumb, but it's funny. I just thought it was kind of funny, and it was like easy to understand what's going on in the case, and it was obviously that they'd done like a bunch of research on it, and so I mean, it's not like we have a ton of time to do that, but I think it'd be really cool if we could just, like you had mentioned on the last one, just add somebody speaking. Otherwise, I mean, I think it'd be fine. I was gonna try and add like some funny cartoons that kind of helped describe what's going on. So
you're just saying having someone narrate the
the
presentation.
slides, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that.
Would adding a video into it of, well, I don't know if there is a video for the court case, but if there is, would that be like a good idea as well to put in there?
Yeah, if there is a video. I haven't specifically looked for a video, but I thought that the video that we had last time was great for helping people understand the case.
Yeah.
Issue. So with that one, yeah, I don't know if you're finding any short videos like the Pepsi video we had or about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to be fairly long, and
yeah, I just searched some of them, and I think the shortest one is like 4 minutes, so it's a bit long.
I think if we just have some funny pictures that help explain what's going on, it'll be good.
for sure.
I'll try and get everything done before 8 because I have to leave at like 8:15. So
Yeah, and I'll have some time to work on it more here.
yeah, I won't be home until 11, which is past when it's due. Or is it due at like 11:59?
It's due at 11, but this says March 28th. Or is that just like overall, like all of the groups are supposed to be done by that date?
I think it's just that air in the date.
Yeah, because it says that for week 10 that our group or like our case is for week 10 and this week is week 10, so I think it better, like with what Michael said, better be safe than sorry. Because like I think, wasn't it last week? I don't think there was any cases that anybody like put together or anything. At least not that I saw.
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking at the schedule. There's nothing in the schedule that talks about the group case presentation.
Yeah.
So. Anyway,
Real quick, whose what do you call it? Like Google slide is this on?
Where it says
Um,
case facts.
No. Like whose slide is it? Because I can't I requested to edit, but I haven't I'm not able to edit anything.
yeah.
That's me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
For some reason this time around it didn't allow, I couldn't find anybody's Gmail account from the
really?
last time, and so I sent it to the emails that I had, and then it was causing problems with whatchamacallit, with I guess editing properties.
Right.
Let me fix that.
Yes.
So
Okay.
Leonardo and Eduardo, are you guys able to access it and edit it? All right.
Mhm. I
Yeah, I
can
can
see
see
it.
it here.
Yeah, me too. I
Okay.
can see it.
Cool.
That way I can just make sure that everybody can access it and edit it. Because this time around it was just, I don't know what happened. So
Okay. What we can do is we can go through the group assignment real quick, and then we can work on the presentation a bit more.
sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right. So basically, the group assignment for this week, it's about. Okay. Let me pull up my example. Okay, regulation A. So basically, it was kind of confusing to me in the book, so I kind of researched in the internet, and this is what I found. I think it was kind of interesting. It says that okay, it says regulation A is an exception from registration requirements instituted by the Security Act that apply to public offerings of securities that do not exceed 50 million in any one period year. So basically, my example was a local and private company that sells computers called Best Offers and Deals wants to be exempted from registration requirements. According to the Securities Act, they can do that if the company Best Offers and Deals is an organization sales of equity shares or other financial instruments to the public in order to raise funds for business expansion and further investment. Knowing that, the company will apply and will file an offering statement with the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the CEC, and they will prove that they do not exceed 50 million in any period year. So that was basically my example.
I like
Mine
the
was pretty
example.
similar. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. But I was gonna say I like that example. Mine, I also was really confused about what regulation A was even about. So I actually searched up other examples, and they had said on the market for NASDAQ, if they wanted to, that they could. Yeah, if they didn't want to go through the whole registration process or any of that they can file up to 50 million, and that's pretty much it. But other than that, I really didn't understand anything else.
What I understood is that, like you said, it has to be 50 million or less. They cannot trade it publicly, but They have to notify the Security and Exchange Commission 20 days before offering. And then they have to provide the people who are investing in it and info on the nature of the offer, the purpose of it, the description of the arrangement. The offers may be solicited during that 20 days, but they can only be accepted and a contract can only be made after the 20 days. It's only applicable to U.S. and Canadian corporations, or privately held U.S. and Canadian corporations, sorry. And then emerging growth companies can also apply for it as well. But they do have to provide a 2 years of audited financial statements. It's kind of like enables the corporations that are growing, that are going to become bigger. It allows them to kind of test the waters and see how it's going to go. And so that's how kind of what I did off of my example. My example is like I said, I own my own cake decorating business that I run out of my home, but I want to buy a bakery where I can start to employ other people to help me grow my business. And I said, I just want to start out with my own facility. I contact the SEC stating that I'd like to raise about $50,000 to be able to start out my own bakery. And if there's leftover money to start employing more people. I notify them that I'm going to start offering 2,500 shares at $20 a piece. And then I go to investment banks and tell them that I'll be selling my shares in my startup company and ask if they could pass the info on to any potential investors. I also reach out to family members with the offer. 20 days after I've notified the SEC, I get in contact with those people who've expressed interest in my company, and I create a contract. I give them 2 years of my audited financial records to help them make their decision, and we make a deal. So that's my example. I go off of like that last part that was talking about the emerging growth companies.
I think that was a really good example because at the beginning, you provided information that you want to grow your business. So I think that was really good.
It's supposed to just be like, from my reading, it's an exemption from registration requirements.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put that in my example.
Yeah, the big thing for Regulation A is just an exemption. So there's certain registration requirements. Help streamline financial statements without like audit obligations. There's different things like the requirement to provide Exchange Act reports until you have over 500 shareholders and 10 million in assets. So it'd be a good option for a newer company just starting or needs to go public or wanting to have a public offering. Yep. But then once you hit that 500 shareholders or 10 million assets and 10 million assets, then the exemption doesn't apply anymore.
I think that it was a really good example. Also, I was looking in the internet about the Regulation A, and what I found was that in order to be applicable, it needs to be, they need to raise up to 50 million in a 12-month period using a public solicitation. And also, I was looking that they need to combine public funding through Regulation A with private funds from investors to create a larger round of fundraising. And actually, I was looking for examples so I could have a better understanding about the regulation. And I found something here. I'm going to read it for you. Right here. Okay. So this is a company. The company is called Chicken Soup for the Soul. And this company is known for its inspirational books series. And this company went public through the Regulation A. And they raised up to 50 million directly from pop investors. And the CEO of this company, he considered that this company could be the new Netflix of today. So what I was understanding is that this company like went public through this law, and they were able to raise up to 50 million. But what I understood is that in order for them to apply the Regulation A, they needed both to combine like investors, like someone needs to invest in this company, and also what is the other one? Yeah, they need to combine public funding with funds, with private funds from investors. So that's what I found on the internet.
Did you guys read anything about the tier 1 and tier 2? The differences there at all?
I didn't catch what you said.
So there's a tier 1 exemption and a tier 2.
Under Regulation A?
Yeah, Regulation A, there's tier 1 and then tier 2 under it.
I don't remember reading that. Maybe I don't remember reading that. Maybe I skimmed over it.
Yeah. Probably don't
I guess you find that.
but I don't know if you guys read about it at all.
Yeah, I read about tier 1 and tier 2.
What I found about tier 1 and tier 2 is that the difference is that the tier 1 is that a company is permitted to offer a maximum of 20 million in any 1 year period. And in tier 2, it's 50 million in any 1 period year. Is that right, Michael?
I think so, yeah, from what I read. And then also, let me see here. Tier 1, companies under the tier 1 are not required to produce reports continually and only required to issue a report on the final status of the offering. And then tier 2, I think they're required to produce those reports frequently.
Yeah, that's what I saw in tier 1. It says that they are only required to issue a report on the final status of the offering. And on tier 2, it says that companies must produce continual reports of the offerings, including its final status. But what exactly does that mean? That companies are only permitted to offer a maximum of 20 million, or for the tier 2, 50 million? What does that mean, that they are only permitted to offer that amount of money?
Where are you reading this?
I think it's an initial public offering. So, you see here. Basically, for stocks or investing purposes, there's only so much that can offer out for people to basically purchase. Yeah, so it's your initial public offering, so IPO. It's your initial sale of stock. So, for example, Google's initial public offering was like 4 billion. So, initial public offering of like 20 or to 50 million really isn't that much. So yeah, it'd be like for a smaller bakery company just starting out.
Mhm.
And you can offer up to 50 million in the sale of stock that people can purchase.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I like, they're all good examples. I like Alexis's
Mhm.
example for the assignment.
Yeah, I really like that one.
I think we might have to just edit it a little bit just so we include that it is an exemption. Because in my example, I didn't put that it was an exemption.
Okay.
I can just copy and paste it for you guys, so you don't have to type it, and then you can just add and edit whatever it is that whatever you guys like you need to add. I guess I don't know how you would word that. I guess I'm like actually I could just do that right now. Like kick my I don't want to go yet, so okay. I edited it so it has now that I am looking for an exemption.
Okay.
When you're ready for a question, sorry, I was trying to think of some questions we could have for it. Anyway, let me know if you guys are ready for the question, and I can try to come up with one here. I was trying to think of one that'd be good. I'm also having a mini stroke, I think, because I can't even talk or think tonight.
That's not a good thing to be having.
No.
The sunset is beautiful today.
Yeah.
Just off topic, I just noticed it looked really pretty out the window.
Good. No, at work, I'm frequently like, I'm a sales trainer where I work, and so I have to be in front of class frequently and teach them job skills, sales skills, things like that. But also, I'll lose my train of thought, so I'll just tell them that's what happened. And
That's funny.
yeah. Sometimes they don't pick up on it, so they just look at me weird. So.
Oh. That's funny.
So I'm reading the difference between Regulation D and Regulation A. Regulation D seems way better.
Isn't it for gas companies and oil companies?
No, I don't think it's specific for those. It could be, but Regulation D, an exemption from
Oh,
all.
Regulation D is in like David.
Yeah, D as in David.
Oh, I thought you said B as in boy. B as in boy is for gas and oil companies.
Gotcha. But D, it's an exemption from all registration and other requirements for a company selling equity.
But you have like a lot more regulations. You can only like raise up to like $1 million though.
Yeah, so I guess if you're starting off, like so in this example that you provided,
It probably would be better for a Regulation D.
Yeah, I said you're offering 2,500 shares at $20 a piece. That equals out to be, I don't know how much. I don't want right now.
50 grand.
It's not going to be 20 to 50 million, right?
No. So I guess we could just change that number to like 25,000 rather than 2,500. That could be upwards of $1 million, right? Maybe. Do the math real quick.
No, it's like 500,000.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So we'll do 25,000 times. Still not enough. The little bakery. I don't think anybody would want to invest in my little bakery just yet. That much money. A lot of money to invest.
You just say instead of like a little bakery, we could have it's a bakery like franchise, not franchise, but a bakery just chain.
Yeah.
Now you're looking to start an IPO or do an IPO, and then that would be more applicable because now assumption is you have several locations or you have the need.
Yeah, we could change it. We could change it from that I run it out of my house. It could be that you could change it so that it's like I'm looking just to open up another location. I already own like 3 locations and I'm looking to open another one.
You
Or
could do
something like
that,
that.
or you could even
And
you
then
have
change
several,
the
you have several
shares.
locations that are now looking to open up a factory, which we can now just produce, manufacture, not manufacture, but basically distribute and sell the goods found in this bakery or whatever it is. And that's like you have a factory you're supporting and actual something bigger. Plus the local bakeries or cake decorating. So you could say that, or you could do, bakery. You could do supplies for cake decorating. You could do, I don't know. Does that make more sense? Something like that, having a chain or opening up a manufacturer, and now you're wanting to manufacture and sell and distribute, say, cake decorating supplies that you use or that you've come up with. Or saying, here's recipes, now we're selling our frosting. And sprinkles or whatever you want. But for this one, yeah, if we change it up, then we could say like the question, which, let me see, which exemption would be most applicable according to the situation or whatever it is. Then we say, obviously, answer is regulation A because the amount of shares we're providing and the amount of shareholders or total assets, whatever we want. Then we could have the wrong answer as regulation D because we're going to raise more. We're going to offer a public offering greater than like $1 million. Let's see here. And then did they have a regulation B as well?
Yeah, I think so. They have a regulation B. Yeah, they have regulation B and C.
Perfect. So then we could say B because that one's only applicable, or that's the wrong answer because that one's applicable to oil companies or whatever C is.
Yeah, it says regulation B covers oil and gas securities. Regulation C deals with general registration requirements, registration by foreign governments, and other rules. Just like Alexis said, right, that this regulation is only applicable for companies in the US and Canada. So, okay. And Alexis, I think that I just received your example.
Okay.
So, okay, so Michael, you said that the question will be something like which exemption will be most applicable according to the corporation? Let me check.
According to, yeah. It's like based off of this example, which regulate or not regulate, which exemption would be most applicable?
Okay.
Or fits best?
Okay, perfect. So I got the example. I'm gonna provide the explanation of the example, and then I'm gonna be working on the question. And like you said, Michael, I guess we can put the other registrations B, C, and D. So I'm gonna do that right now. I don't know if you guys want to start working on the presentation.
I'm cool with that. I'm gonna finish up my slide. I gotta take off in a little bit anyway, so.
Okay.
Unless you guys need us, we need to do something else. Do you guys feel like, or?
Not if I can hear. I'm recording real quick here. We're good to go with the assignment.
Yeah.